At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality walking shoes, which might lead to another discovery.
40,000 steps, baby. Who's on top now, Karen?
You've taken the office step challenge a step too far. Don't worry, though. Sierra also has yoga gear. It might be a good place to find your zen. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
You don't wake up dreaming of McDonald's fries. You wake up dreaming of McDonald's hash browns. McDonald's breakfast comes first. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hello. Welcome back to Peak Northwest, an outdoors and travel podcast by the Oregonian and Oregon Live, dedicated to the adventure and exploration of our beautiful Pacific Northwest. I'm Jamie Hale.
And I'm Kiara Profena. Together we take you to some of the most beautiful and interesting destinations in our region, discussing where to go, what to do, and places to see. And today we're checking out a few spots you might have overlooked right here in the Willamette Valley.
That's right, Kiara. It is spring break time here in the Pacific Northwest, and while that might mean big vacations for some, for many folks, it's a chance to do some local day trips. And for those who don't want to join everybody else at the coast or out in the gorge, we have a list of some overlooked attractions today that are right here in our own backyard.
And these overlooked attractions, are these overlooked in your own mind, or where'd you come up with this list?
It's hard to say, because some people are going to be like, I've been there. I didn't overlook it. But I'm talking like generally. So, obviously, these places are not like Cannon Beach. Mm-hmm. These are not like the Tillamook Creamery, right? They're not getting like, hundreds of thousands of visitors every day. Some of them are more popular than others. Some you may have seen, but maybe just like not stopped off at. There are places that like you're going to see, generally speaking, fewer people, and maybe some stuff that you've never really thought about before. Some museums that have some interesting or weird or different kinds of exhibits.
Kind of quintessential Oregon type of kitschy attractions.
Yes, totally. Yeah. There's like a kitschy range here, right? But I think generally speaking, I was just looking for spots, that are a little bit off the beaten track.
Gotcha. So tell me about what you found.
Okay. So I've got like sort of 5 spots. I've got so many spots, but I'm trying to limit it here to 5 or so places that I've either been to or I've just sort of had that I've driven by, that I've wanted to stop off at. The first one we've got here is a place called Living Rock Studios. Have you heard about this, Kiara?
I have never heard of this.
Oh my gosh, it's pretty cool. I sort of have it on my like Oregon's weird roadside attractions list. This is like a building that is like a 2-story building that is made of stone that was built by this man named Howard B. Taylor. This is like classic, like man decides to build crazy project in like rural Oregon. There's so much of this stuff here. And he's since died. But his daughters, last I stopped there, his daughters were running the place. And it's like, just like has this, it's built of like a lot of local stone. It's just a really cool, weird stone building. And it has like a lot of funny features inside, like big staircases. And there's like a bunch of like cool, like lava rock and crystals and petrified wood, all locally harvested stones. And it's just like really beautiful stonework. He also, this is sort of like he was sort of a devout Christian. And so he has like, there's a lot of Christian imagery in there, but it's also really beautiful stuff. So there's like these 7 biblically themed pieces of art that are made entirely of thinly sliced geodes.
Wow.
That are like super cool.
That sounds really interesting. So is it just like almost a museum type attraction?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sort of like a place where you just kind of go and go, whoa. How did somebody do this and why? It also has a low-key, like really great gift shop. I got a piece of petrified wood there that's beautiful. That was way cheaper than I've seen anywhere else. You can go to a shop in Portland and get a big piece of petrified wood that's, been cut and polished for, $100. And this was like $20. So really cool gift shop too. And this is, I probably say where this is. Living Rock Studios is in Brownsville, which is sort of just kind of outside of the Eugene Corvallis area.
There's definitely a good amount of people that could make that trip pretty quickly.
Absolutely. It's right off I-5. So if you're taking I-5, just sort of north of Eugene, you jump off the freeway and it's just a couple minutes off the freeway. All of a sudden you're in Brownsville, you're at this Living Rock Studios. It could take you could walk through in 15 minutes. You could spend, 4 hours there if you really want to like look in depth at everything. If you're like a big rock nerd, oh my God, you can have a lot of fun there.
Is it very picturesque?
I mean, it depends on your definition of picturesque, I suppose. I think it's very cool. It's sort of like rough, It's not like, this sweeping architectural feat. It's more like this dude built it in his backyard. But it's really cool. I think it's very cool and beautiful in sort of like, a rough and tumble sort of way.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds like something that a lot of people wouldn't have seen out here in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've never heard of living here for 5 years. So definitely tracks for off the beaten path.
It's like, I mean, if you make a list of like Oregon's roadside attractions, it's like in the 20s down that list. It's not even at the top. But again, really cool. And if you're looking for a day trip to take, like if your kids are out of school or if you just like have a weekend and you want to just go take a quick day trip to something weird and fun, this is a great spot to do it.
And there's plenty of things to do around, right?
Exactly. I mean, again, this is right off I-5, but it's very close to Corvallis. You can, just pop off in Corvallis and get something to eat or walk around there or do some hikes. I mean, it's sort of on the way to the Central Cascades. So, I mean, you can get off the freeway and keep going past Brownsville and get out to a bunch of parks. And, soon enough, you're in the mountains.
Well, I definitely want to see that. Just kind of can't really imagine it in my head.
Exactly. So. You have to just see it for yourself.
So what's next on your list? Anything in the same area? Are they kind of spread out?
Kind of in a really similar area down in Albany, which is just north of Brownsville, actually. Albany is kind of like, again, right off I-5 on your way to Corvallis. There's the Albany Carousel. This is a really cool spot. It's a historic carousel and museum. This is, if I'm remembering correctly, the Albany Carousel, like kind of, they brought this carousel back to life. And it's not just like your regular carousel that has like, a horse and like another horse. They have like all kinds of whimsical, magical animals. Like it'll be like a seahorse that's actually a horse, or it'll be like, just any number of things. And they've been hand making these new animals. So they have like people who are like hand carving all of these carousel animals and hand painting them.
Wow.
To put them on here. They started to do this big project back in 2017. And they reopened this museum in like around 2018 or so. But it's been going on for several decades now at this point. And it's just like a really cool place. If you have kids, this is like the carousel spot to go to, because if you've got a kid who's like, oh, I want to ride a dragon on the carousel. Yeah, they've got a dragon, obviously. Or if you're like an adult who loves this stuff too, you just have a lot of whimsy in your heart. Mm-hmm. This is a great spot to go. And again, it's like not a lot of people think of Albany as a place to like stop off at, but like it has this. It's got a cute downtown, and there's a bunch of little parks there along the Willamette River. So it's a nice spot, again, to explore something different. And that's what a lot of these places are about. It's like having an excuse to stop somewhere that you wouldn't before and having the chance to explore around that.
Yeah, exactly. And there's definitely could make the argument to do a couple of these on the same trip for sure.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, you can, we talk about Living Rock Museum and the Albany Carousel. That's like a 1-2 right there. They're basically across the street from each other. So
we're really just planning out your spring day trip itinerary for you.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So Albany Carousel, big time recommend this. They're open Wednesday through Sunday. The rides, the admission is always free. Rides are $2. which is pretty good. It's inside, so it's like this beautiful building, and the carousel's inside. So if it's raining, which it often is in spring break, you don't have to worry about it, and you can go, ride on the back of a salmon or whatever.
Nothing sounds better than that, truly. Skip the theme parks. Go straight to the Albany Carousel.
Exactly.
And beyond the Albany Carousel, what else do we have?
Okay, next on my list here is the Oregon Garden. This is a spot that's huge. It does get a lot of visitors. This is like one that like a lot of folks have maybe been to before. Doesn't have sort of the cachet of like the International Rose Test Garden, the Portland Japanese Garden, these places. The Oregon Garden is really big, and they have a lot of beautiful, beautiful flowers and plants there that are good any time of year. So you can go there and see some great winter garden. You can go in the spring and see all the blooms. There's stuff in the summer, the fall, any old time to go to the Oregon Garden. They do a big Christmas market in the winter time. I think that's when a lot of people go to the Oregon Garden. They have a light show and like a sort of a traditional German market. But going in this time of year, I mean, we're kind of in that beginning of the bloom season. Mm-hmm. And I love going to a big manicured garden this time of year because you can see all kinds of stuff that is just waking up for the season. Flowers that are, local that you might recognize, or flowers that are like tropical that you wouldn't. I mean, you can really spend all day walking around the Oregon Garden. There is, I believe, a secret garden somewhere that they don't tell you where it is. You just have to sort of, find it. I've not found it. I've been there a couple times. I've not found the secret garden. I don't know where it is. But a really cool spot to just wander.
This is like a pretty big open space.
It's a big, big open space. Yeah, they've got a lot of room at the Oregon Garden.
That's good. No shortage of things to see there either.
You can get, you can walk around, get your steps in. If the weather is good, this is a great spot to like get some sunshine, stretch your legs and see some cool stuff. If you're like into photography, this is a great spot to just get some pictures, do some photo shoots. I don't know. Get your graduation pictures done or something.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. And it's pretty close to Salem, looks like.
Yeah, it's kind of in the Silverton area is what I think about it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just right there outside Salem. It's a great area. I mean, Silverton itself is a really cute downtown. It's obviously right next to Silver Falls State Park. So that's a great place to go. Another place you can spend all day. And one of the things I love about the Oregon Garden too is that they have since incorporated the Gordon House, which is a Frank Lloyd Wright house. Frank Lloyd Wright, obviously great, brilliant architect of mid-century modern times, and he's got this one of his. It's a kind of house he built that's like a sort of a classic Frank Lloyd Wright single-story, very efficient design. And they do tours of the Gordon House, and it's just super cool. I've done it once or twice, and it's great to walk around and just see this like really cool architecture. It does make you want to live there. Is the only problem.
Well, it's good that you can maybe go outside of some of the bigger cities and still see some of the flowers blooming. I know we're on the cherry bloom watch, so seeing maybe outside of Portland, there's a few areas that have a little bit more of a scenic kind of floral landscape that you can get out into.
Absolutely. I mean, Salem in and of itself has so many good gardens. I did a story on this a few years ago about just the gardens of Salem. There's just like, Bush's Pasture Park, there's the Oregon Capitol, there's the Iris Gardens. I mean, there's like gardens and gardens and gardens. You can see the camas lilies bloom. You can see the tulips in Salem. It's just that for some reason that city is just full of gardens. So to have that and then to go like 15 minutes down the road and have the Oregon Garden, it's like that area to me is like the epicenter of like springtime blooms.
It's not a bad thing to be known for.
Right?
So after you visit the Oregon Garden, what's next?
I feel like the Cascade Raptor Center is the next thing I have on my list. I've not been to the Cascades Raptor Center. This is like just really right outside Eugene. It's just south of downtown. I love the name, first of all. Great name. Mm-hmm. It's for people who don't know that a raptor is like a bird of prey. it evokes images of Jurassic Park immediately.
Right. I was going to say, so is it a velociraptor or a bird raptor?
We're talking bird raptors. So we're talking like, eagles and falcons and owls. I mean, just like any of your like sharp-beaked taloned birds. And this is a great spot. It's a nature center. So they have a lot of birds that they are, rehabilitating. They will have I think in the spring and summertime, they have like demonstrations that bring birds out every now and then to sort of show you. It's, for folks who like want to see some wildlife without like searching for it in the forest or going to the Oregon Zoo, which is going to be crowded on spring break, especially with that baby elephant there right now. Mm-hmm. Everybody's at the Oregon Zoo. I was there on a Friday, at 1:00 in the afternoon, and it was sold out.
Wow.
Everyone's seen that elephant right now. So Oregon Zoo is like, maybe if you don't want crowds, don't go there. The Cascades Raptor Center is a great spot to see a certain kind of wildlife, no elephants, obviously, but to see some birds, just right here in the Willamette Valley.
So what can you do there? Is it like bird demonstrations, just kind of like in the midst of all of these different species, or?
It's mostly like, as I understand, sort of walking through their property. It's outdoors.
Okay.
And you have, various enclosures with different kinds of birds in them. So, I mean, it's like an opportunity to like sort of look up and see like an eagle that is in an enclosure, or to see some owls, or to see, whatever the case may be, all kinds of raptors out there. And then, at certain times of day, they may be being fed, which is not everyone's cup of tea. I love to see it. But to see, these animals eat is really cool. And at certain times of year and certain times of day, they will have these demonstrations where you can see. And that's something you kind of have to just know when you get there. But I think the best, if you want to do this, get there earlier in the day. Mm-hmm. They feed them early in the day, and they'll have a good idea of like when they're going to have demonstrations at that point.
Gotcha. Have you been to the Raptor Center?
I've not been there.
Okay.
I would love to go. I would love a good excuse to go to the Raptor Center.
Well, outdoors and travel content, I'm sure you can make an argument for the Raptor Center.
I bet we could. I'm sure we could.
Is this the only one on your list that you haven't gone to?
No, the next one that we have is the other one I have not been to.
Okay.
And that's the North American Bigfoot Center. You said before we started recording, this is one that you are familiar with to some degree.
Yes, I've driven by this one so many times on my way up to Mount Hood, and I'm always like, whoop, there it is, the Bigfoot Center. It's kind of like almost like a halfway point between here and Sandy, perhaps.
Yeah, it's out there and boring.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of those things that I constantly think about. One of my coworkers last year did a roundup of all of the Bigfoot events and activities in Oregon. So anytime I think about Bigfoot adjacent things, I think of her, and I wonder if she would have wanted to go to the Bigfoot Center and what it's like and what kind of attractions they have.
Mm-hmm. It was this coworker here at the Oregonian?
Yes.
Is it Sam Swindler?
Actually, it was a summer intern, Rhea Sharma.
Oh, Rhea. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was going to say, because Sam Swindler has been to the Bigfoot Center, and I was just watching a video she did about it because Sam is also a big Bigfoot person.
Right. I can imagine so.
And it looks like, according to her video, this is like a scientifically minded museum. They like trade a little bit in sort of like the Bigfoot culture, but they are there to show you casts of footprints, casts of handprints, Bigfoot hairs, allegedly, location sightings, some of like the indigenous traditions and stories, all you want to know about Bigfoot. It's like, a Bigfoot 101 museum. And so if you're like a little bit even into Bigfoot, this is like your spot to go.
That sounds like it could convince anyone. It's all kind of factual information.
That is what I understand. Okay. I mean, this is, again, depending on your feelings about Bigfoot and the Bigfoot sort of science world. Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you, Kiara, what are your feelings about Bigfoot?
I'm pro Bigfoot. I mean, I don't think I guess I can't doubt in the existence of Bigfoot. So, if you can convince me, I'm right there with you. Mm-hmm. What about you?
to me, it's always felt far-fetched. And yet I've met a lot of very smart, logically minded people, very scientifically minded people who take it very, very seriously. So, it's like there seems to be some evidence, and people could certainly point to that evidence being flawed. I don't know. I've not seen a Bigfoot. None of these people have seen a Bigfoot in person, to my knowledge. We just don't know.
Right.
But I do love the passion that people have for this, and I do totally appreciate and respect all of this Bigfoot obsession.
We're journalists, not scientists. So I don't think we have to be too critical about it. We can just go along for the ride and enjoy the fact that the Bigfoot Center is certainly a place to visit.
Absolutely. This is, again, like a great spot for like anyone. I think kids, if you have kids who are like super into Bigfoot, again, we're talking like Oregon school spring break. Oh yeah. Like if you haven't taken them to the Bigfoot Center yet, definitely do. This is like, I know a lot of kids are like into that sort of cryptozoology. This is the place for them. And as we said, there are many adults, many friends who are like so into this stuff. It does seem like this is like the go-to museum for any of this sort of thing.
And out there in Boring too, is there any like lore associated with the area that, Bigfoot's been sighted out there or something?
I don't know specifically that area. But I mean, the Pacific Northwest in general is like heavily affiliated and associated with Bigfoot.
Right.
There are sightings here, but like we've got Bigfoot stuff everywhere. There's the Bigfoot Trap down in Southern Oregon. There's various other Bigfoot festivals. As you said, like there's enough to do a roundup of festivals, events, places, museums. So this is not the only one. But as far as the Willamette Valley goes, this does seem to be sort of the premier Bigfoot spot.
Kind of stand out if you want a one-stop shop for everything Bigfoot.
Exactly. And there is a shop.
They have a killer gift shop.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Who doesn't want like some Bigfoot, touristy keychains and t-shirts?
Dude, they have all of that stuff. The sign, like the Bigfoot crossing signs, like the Bigfoot doesn't believe in you either sticker, like all of that stuff. If you've got a Bigfoot lover in your life, or if you are a Bigfoot lover, I mean, just go nuts.
You don't even have to be a lover. I mean, I got my dad a Bigfoot t-shirt for his birthday last year.
There you go.
It's like the perfect gift for anyone.
Sure.
So those are your top 5 in the Willamette Valley.
Yeah, I mean, loosely top. I mean, those are 5 that I really wanted to highlight today. But I mean, obviously there's so many more. We could do a little lightning round. Yeah,
tell me, what else do we have out there?
Okay, so the Zymoglyphic Museum in Portland.
That's a mouthful.
Yes, Zymoglyphic. It is open 2 Sundays a month for like 4 hours at a time. It is essentially one dude's garage in which he has a collection of his own weird artwork. And that sounds like, why would I want to go? But some of it's like really cool and interesting and like kind of a weird, uncanny kind of way. Like it's definitely not like, wow, this is so beautiful. It's more like, oh, this is odd and interesting. It's sort of like among Portland's weirder attractions, like the sort of like of the keep Portland weird side of things. This is in that side of things.
What is zymoglyphic?
I believe it's a word he invented.
Okay.
So I can look up the definition here because maybe we do need to say that.
Glyphic.
Okay. According to the website, zymoglyphic is of or pertaining to images of fermentation, specifically the solid residue of creative fermentation on natural objects. And the second definition is the collection and arrangement of objects primarily either natural or weathered by natural forces for poetic effect.
Interesting.
So
I'm not sure I fully grasped anything you just said there, but
yeah. In the FAQ on his website, someone says, "How did you find such a perfect word to describe your stuff?" And he says, "I made it up." So I've talked to this guy. He's really cool. He's really, really great, and he's very open about it. It's a great place you can sort of go and just wander around and see some weird stuff.
Cool. And where's this Zymoglyphic Museum?
It's in the Mount Tabor neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's someone's house.
It's a quick quick little like hour out of your day to go see that if you're local in Portland.
If you're free on Sundays, it's like the second and fourth Sunday. You have to look at the website, but it's very rare how often this is open.
Interesting. So what else is on there?
Going a bit deeper out into the Willamette Valley is Erratic Rock, which does sound like a weird roadside attraction, but it is a state park site, in fact. This is like a rock that erratic is a term, a geological term to explain rocks that have sort of like been moved from their location where they were formed. Mm-hmm. So like this whole Willamette Valley, lower Columbia River was shaped by the big floods that came from the Ice Age. The ice dams broke and these huge cataclysmic floods flooded the area, helped sort of carve out the Willamette Valley, which is why we have such great soil here.
Okay.
So a lot of that rock and sediment was carried all the way down to here, and Erratic Rock is like this one sort of big rock formation. And again, this is like if you're a rock nerd, eat this stuff up. If you're not, it's like that's interesting kind of situation. Yeah. But it's, again, right off of Oregon Highway 18, just south of McMinnville. Oregon 18 is sort of like a great spot in the summertime, usually to go like stop at farm stands and little parks and weird museums of various kinds. But Erratic Rock is another, just like a short walk. You want to stretch your legs and you're in that area and see something different. Mm-hmm. There you have it.
So is there any like hike associated or just...
It's a short walk.
It's a short walk.
I believe it's a paved pathway the whole time.
Well, you know what? That's great for everybody then.
Yeah.
Completely accessible.
It's very accessible. It's very easy to get to. And it's, I think, pretty interesting. I know that's not like everyone's big interest, but I find it pretty cool.
So you're saying you're a rock nerd?
To a certain degree. I don't like have all the names of rocks in my head. I was not a geology major, but I feel like I can have some opinions about rocks. You know what I mean?
You can be a self-proclaimed rock nerd.
I wouldn't go that far, but if you want to call me a rock nerd, I'll accept it.
Okay. Any other rock exhibits on your list, or what do we have next?
No other rock exhibits, but there is a couple of, like if we're talking about weird museums, the Mount Angel Abbey Museum. Again, this is like a super weird off the beaten path one, but like the Mount Angel Abbey. So this is in Mount Angel, which is again in the Willamette Valley. It is an abbey. It is a Benedictine abbey, and in the abbey there is like, you go down some stairs, and in the basement there's like a room, and that room is their museum of weird stuff.
Weird stuff related to the...
No.
Oh.
No.
Not related to Mount Angel Abbey?
No, it is just weird stuff. Like I went there one day, and it's such a weird experience because it's kind of like very dated. It hasn't been updated in a while. It is like an interesting showcase of different things. So some of it's like, natural history. Like here are some butterflies, here are some statues. There's a lot of taxidermy there. I would say a large part of it is taxidermy of various animals, of moose and bears, but there's also like, specimens from nature and old microscopes. One of their prime exhibits is a calf that was born with 8 legs, as well as a 2-headed cow. These are taxidermy, obviously, but like it's like deformed livestock, I guess you could say.
It's one niche to get into.
Again, like this is just very weird museum stuff. And why this is in the basement of an abbey, I do not know. But it is free. As long as the abbey's open, you can just pop down there. When I visited a number of years ago, there was no one else there. I felt like a little bit like I wasn't supposed to be there, in a way that I just like walked into this building and walked into this room, but it seems legit. And they have a website that says, yeah, come on down. So again, a weird place to go, and it definitely niche, like you said, but if you're into some weird stuff, go check out the Mount Angel Abbey Museum.
And so this is all kind of overseen by the monks there?
I guess so. Again, it's like really kind of casual, this museum. It's just kind of there.
Maybe it was just someone's special interest.
It seems like someone at some point collected a lot of this stuff and they just have it, and they just put it there.
Might as well. I mean, allow everyone the joy of seeing their taxidermy collection.
Exactly. Okay, and the last thing we'll talk about on this list is, I don't know, one of my favorite things, and the place I have been to also is the giant troll statue in Southwest Portland.
Right. I've heard a lot about this one.
It's just very cool. This is a project of an artist who made a bunch of giant troll statues, and he's done them around the world. He did a series in the Pacific Northwest. There's a bunch in the Seattle area, and he did one in Oregon, and it's here in Southwest Portland. It is behind the Nordic Northwest, which is a sort of a cultural heritage center.
Right.
Also a location of one of the many Broder restaurants, Broder Soder. Broder's great spot to get some Scandinavian brunch. So you go get some brunch at Broder and then walk around just like behind the restaurant onto the property. And there's this big troll statue there. And it's like a troll that is like looking inside of a small house, a small shack of some sort. Like he's taking off the roof in a curious way.
Yes.
Curious, mischievous kind of way.
I've seen a lot of pictures of this troll sculpture. That's so funny that you mentioned Broder. I've been to Broder. I've not seen the troll sculpture though. So I missed out on that.
Wow. How'd you like Broder?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I had meatballs, the Scandinavian
there you go.
dish. It was amazing. So yeah, highly recommend getting a brunch there. That was like chef's kiss.
It's a beautiful building. I love the able skivers personally, the little little pancake balls.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
It's like a fun little cultural treat that you don't get too often in the Pacific Northwest either.
Exactly. So I think that's kind of the idea with a lot of this stuff is like, an opportunity to go somewhere maybe you haven't been before. I mean, maybe you've been to all these places before and you're like, okay, I know all about the troll sculpture and the weird museums. Like, I get it. But like, it's a great, like how often you go to like these small towns in the Willamette Valley, find some new places to eat, find some new things to see, just like, expand your horizons without having to spend like, $6,000 to get halfway across the world or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that they're all kind of pretty centered within a big metropolitan area too. So there's a lot of stuff to do and see.
What have we talked about that you're like, definitely adding that to my list?
Ooh, I mean, honestly, the Bigfoot Center has been on my list for a while. You just bumped it up way higher. And the giant troll, that one just intrigues me. Like, I want to go take a picture with this giant troll. And I read a lot about the artist when I wrote a story about the giant troll turning 1. So, special interest of mine, the giant troll.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's become a Portland classic at this point.
Exactly.
Even after just 1 year.
So, large trolls and Bigfoot, like...
Okay.
Cryptids, I suppose.
That makes sense to me. Like those are akin in a way.
Exactly. They go hand in hand. So that's my special interest. So
yeah, I'm personally really excited about the Cascades Raptor Center. That's a place that would be at the top of my list. And I wish that my daughter was anywhere old enough for a carousel. I mean, she like just is sitting up. She's 7 months old. She cannot go on a carousel. And she's not like old enough to even appreciate it. So like in a couple of years, I'm really psyched about the Albany Carousel.
Well, you can always take her to Erratic Rock. Maybe she'll appreciate that.
I mean, she loves touching rocks,
yeah.
So
that could be fun for her.
That's something. All right, folks. Well, that will do it for us for today. Until next time, you can watch our videos on the Oregonians YouTube channel and view all of our travel and outdoors coverage on OregonLive.com/travel, as well as HereIsOregon.com.
Please leave us a rating or review if you enjoy the show, and if you want to support this podcast as well as our local journalism, please consider a subscription to Oregon Live. You can find details at OregonLive.com/podsupport. Also, if you're a fan of the show and interested in potentially sponsoring it, you can get in touch with our marketing people at advertise@oregonian.com. This episode of the show is produced by me alongside Jamie Hale and Vicky Connor.
Stay safe and happy travels, everyone. Until next time, we leave you with this 10 seconds of Zen.